So we're gonna mix it up a little bit here. We've got a little longer video for you this week. We're talking about a report that I actually saw recently released by the US Surgeon General. The nation's chief medical professional has announced and declared in an 87-page report the most pressing public health crisis, concern, epidemic facing our nation. It's not obesity, it's not social media, it's not even really technically mental health or depression. What is it? It's social isolation. It's loneliness. Believe it or not, 1 in 2 Americans suffers from what Surgeon General calls chronic loneliness. And what is chronic loneliness? I'm sure that there's all kinds of scientific criteria behind it, but essentially what it is a lack of connection or lack of quality connection with people in our lives. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, the fact is we are created as human beings, not to go too super into philosophy here, but I believe, and I think most of us believe, that we're created to interact with one another. And particularly in the last few years since COVID, but even pre-existing that over decades now, we have seen as a culture, as a society, that we are connecting less and less frequently and with less and less quality with one another. Why do I talk about that in the context of real estate? Well, I gotta tell you that most real estate agents have this reluctance, even though we know that the number of people we talk to on a regular basis and the quality of those conversations impacts our ability to help people and therefore to help them buy and sell property and to earn a living doing what we do. Even though we know that in our head, we often will have that reluctance to pick up the phone, to want to connect face to face, to do a little pop by and drop by somebody's house or place of business and say, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to check on you. We have that reluctance for whatever reason because we're afraid of coming off as salesy. We're afraid of coming off as inauthentic. So what if instead of being salesy and instead of coming at it from a numbers standpoint, we instead say, why don't I make an intentional effort to combat this isolation, the social isolation and loneliness piece that is an epidemic. It really is a real life thing. They've linked it to all kinds of health issues. It's more dangerous and more impactful on the human body than smoking 15 cigarettes a day or drinking 6 alcoholic beverages a day. Believe it or not, there are physiological impacts that come from this lack of social connection. So what if this week, when you're following up with your clients and customers, instead of doing it from a sales standpoint, you do it from a place of concern? Maybe I can be the voice in somebody's life this week that helps combat loneliness. Try that on for size this week. Hope that helps.